special episode of Backlight Boston, hosted here at the Boston Center for the Arts. This week we're going to interview Peter DiMuro. I hope you enjoy. Joining us this week, I have Peter DiMuro, of Public Displays of Motion and the Executive Director of the Dance Complex. Thank you so much for joining us.
My pleasure.
So I wanted to interview you originally, as you became the Executive Director at the Dance Complex, but now that you seem to be everywhere, you want to tell us about kind of what you're doing currently and what you're involved with?
Sure. Well, I was going to say my day job is the ED at the Dance Complex, but it's a day and a night job, and so I try to balance that by making my own work. And so I came up with originally it was called PDM for Peter DiMuro, but also PDM for Public Displays of Motion, and it's an umbrella name for all the work that I do artistically or creatively, and that includes making some dances, making some dance theater, but also I advocate for dance, which I think is an art unto itself sometimes, to get people to understand their connection with it. I engage people with making dances themselves, especially those who don't make dance on a regular basis or understand that they're creative.
So how do you strike that balance, being both the Executive Director and kind of being in that accountable role, and also being a creator where you're making this work, and having to be creative, and that they seem so different from each other. So how it's kind of left brain, right brain. So how do you strike that balance in your work and being able to still create while doing the other job as well?
Yeah, well, I think both jobs have their own left and right brain in them both, because at the Dance Complex, if we're thinking about programming for the theater or programming in the building itself, it's a creative act to think about how to take these ingredients we have. It's like looking at the kitchen cabinet and saying, oh, I got a little pasta and some leftover this and leftover that, and how do I make something out of it? And that's very a creative act, I think. And then there's the making the form to fill in. That's the making a form is the creative act, and then filling it in. The roteness of everyday's tallies or that kind of stuff is the accounting part of that kind of thing. And likewise with having a company, it's like getting these guys here for this residency at Boston Center for the Arts, and plus artists in and out for 5 weeks. It was really difficult for me to it's like get the calendar and well, so-and-so can make it on Tuesday, but not on Friday, and then Thursday, and then we all go through that as we start to schedule. So I think we all experience those kind of left brain, right brain things.
Well, and so there's a lot of kind of new, exciting changes that are happening, at the Dance Complex.
Right.
So I don't know if you want to talk about some of the things that
I could talk about those for hours. I feel like the biggest thing coming in was to get to know the Dance Complex of the 21st century. And for any of us, it's like if you grow up with people and you see them as the 10-year-old you played with on the play yard, schoolyard, and then you saw them in college, and et cetera, et cetera. But basically, it's a 22-year-old young adult, this organization. And I think sometimes when we're so close to that, you don't turn around and say, "Ma, you've grown up." And I think that's where the Dance Complex is. We're at a place of maturity and where we can be many things to many people, and be there for that recreational dance class once a week or the stretch class on Sunday, and we can be there as a place to allow a professional dancer an arc of experiences that's going to allow him or her to be a professional in today's world. And that, I think, is very different than what colleges and universities are offering right now. I find, with no disregard to academia, but I find that often it gets stuck in a mode of institutionalization that can't respond to what's happening today in America in dance or in the arts. So all of a sudden, I have a vehicle in the Dance Complex to say, oh, this is happening in New York, this is happening in Western Mass at the 5 colleges. Let's bring these people in. Let's do it, and let's get this working now for today. You asked me about programs, and I kind of ditched that answer. I think what I wanted to start immediately was to upgrade our mentoring program, and we had a fine program before, but we've now made it into more of a course where people can study at both an undergraduate level in the AMASIT program, which is a Make It, Share It, Show It creative lab, and people come and take class, and the focus is on the process, not the product of a concert, although we do a concert with it. And then we've added to that a residency program where artists can apply to be in residence at the dance complex. And my goal there is we're about changing right now, and an artist should be about changing. What are the intersections of those places? What's the next step for the artist who's going to be in residence, and what's our next step, and how can we make the opportunity to be beneficial for both of us?
Finally, we're here in this beautiful space at the Boston Center for the Arts. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
So, you want to talk about your residency that you have here?
Sure. But let me have the gentlemen to my left introduce themselves first. How's that goes? This is
Nino de los Reyes
and
Elber Arisa Silva.
And I'm feeling very inadequate being Italian right now because I have these Latin men next to me. And you too. And I applied for a residency here at the Boston Center for the Arts about the same time I applied for my job at the dance complex, not knowing I would get either one, but knowing that I needed to make a change in my life. I've been teaching in academia. But the residency itself was, I applied originally to do a piece about Nijinsky at the end of his life when he was institutionalized in a sanitarium in Switzerland. And big idea, and the panel loved it, and I got to the point of putting things together and realized I'm not ready to do that piece yet. It's based on a play written by Norman Allen. And mainly I felt not ready because I'd been through so much transition in my life in the last couple of years. And so while I was awarded the residency, I knew about it last fall, I didn't know exactly what was going to happen. And I met Nino through his father, Ramon de los Reyes, who is a world-renowned flamenco teacher, and Nino himself is a world-renowned flamenco dancer. And he came to join us at the dance complex for some performances, and I was just touched not only by his talent, but his persona, his way of thinking and looking at flamenco and doing postmodern things with it. Elver and I had worked together for many years with Liz Learning Dance Exchange and several projects that I directed there. One called The Funny Uncle, and the other was a piece called Farthest Earth from Thee that was commissioned by very special artist, VSA now known as. And it was a piece with multiple people with all kinds of abilities and disabilities for that matter, and many dysfunctions on top of the disabilities and abilities. So I asked the BCA if I could switch up what I was doing and do a different kind of workshop to explore different aspects of the way I've been working for the last 20, 30 years. And I was able to get different people in different weeks to come visit me in this studio, and this week just happens to coincide with these two gentlemen.
We were all kind of scared. I was scared. I just flew in from Madrid, and I didn't know what we were gonna do. And then he told me about Elver. We were all gonna get together, but until now, it's like a gift, like you said. Just to have this space too, and to be with him, to be with Elver. It's something new for me too, because in flamenco, well, we're not that used to doing these things, so it's something like new. Especially, I don't have my musicians here with me or a singer or anything, so kind of new, but I'm having fun, and even more than what I thought.
I am based in Washington, D.C., and it was pretty much a year ago when Peter came to Washington, D.C., and he just shared his thoughts about the project that we were going to do this week or this time of the year. But at that point, it wasn't really clear. It was vague. So now, a year later, I came from Washington, D.C., and I am meeting Nino, and now it's like two different stories, and everything is based on a story. My story when I was a child, Nino's story when he was a child, and everything just came together, just one piece. So it's just that conjunction of two different stories, but you know, the view that Peter has and how to lead and make this just a great piece. So we are excited, or I am, and I guess you too, about how it's going to be display or show, and it's a great opportunity not only to merge in just one story, but also to the continuation of something else that will come later on.
So, if people wanted to go and check out, your performance, how would they do that?
Well, since every week's a new week here at the Boston Center for the Arts with us, this particular duet that we built, the three of us together, will be shown over Memorial Day weekend in a very raw state. And but our hope is that can I say the following? That our hope is, can I say what I'm about to say? That we would see this duet as part of some festivities around flamenco that Nino is organizing at the dance complex and here in and around Boston. And so we're making this now. We'll put it away for a little while and then bring Elver and Nino back to town to do this. And so you'll see this work probably in different guises and in different pieces throughout the year. And then the following couple of weeks we'll have some informal showings throughout June, and then on June 19th and 20th here at the Boston Center for the Arts we'll actually open the doors and you can buy a ticket and come and recept with us, and we'll do a little showing.
I hope it doesn't end here, and what I'm liking most is that it looks like we don't have an end. We keep on doing things, and I think I needed to meet him in this moment of my life, and Peter as well, and learning so much. And it's like a gift. Like, and sometimes in a point of your life, you get what you hope for. You really
Like this interview. Thank you.
You're welcome. I think that's the first time anybody's thanked me.
Well, they're just stingy, is what they are.
Well, thanks very much.
Great.
And now, events from the Boston dance community.
What a great interview with Peter DiMuro. Thank you so much for joining us. If you'd like more information on Backlight Boston, you can reach us on Twitter at Backlight Boston. You can also email us at info@luminariumdance.org. We hope to see you next month. Thank you.